And just when did Nora decide she was coming down with this mysterious illness, Gunther? When she realized how much work she'd have to do this evening?
No, sir, I'm sure that's not the reason.
Or maybe she decided she didn't want to see someone here tonight, like my Aunt Geraldine, for instance. I understand those two got along like oil and water.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that, Mr. Whitney. Look, if you ask me, I'm sure she has the flu, a virus, or something. I'm sure you wouldn't want someone like that among your guests, giving them the bug.
Well, considering some of the people I've invited tonight, Gunther, I'm not so sure that's an unappealing notion. But tell me about this girl you've engaged.
Well, her name is Melinda, and I'm sure she'll be just fine. Look, don't worry about a thing, Mr. Whitney. Between the two of us, I'm sure we can handle it.
See that you do. This is my first party in this house, Gunther, and I don't want it remembered as a fiasco.
Well, just leave everything to me, Mr. Whitney. I guess someone's early. Oh, Miss Bryson.
Good evening, Gunther.
You're a bit early, aren't you?
Val, you look lovely. And she's not an early guest, Gunther. She's our hostess. And she's right on time.
Yeah. Who on earth? Why, Derek.
Hello, Geraldine.
Hello, come in, my dear. What are you doing here?
I came to pick up Raven.
Oh, you two going out together this evening? I had no idea.
You mean she didn't tell you anything at all?
No. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen Raven in over an hour. I just automatically assumed she went to bed early.
Oh, no. She wouldn't do that. She practically begged me to take her to the Whitney party tonight.
She what?
All right, everyone, I'm ready.
Really, Raven, I do think you could have told me something of your plans this evening. You knew perfectly well I was invited to Skylar's party.
Well, I was invited, too. It's just that I got the invitation a little later than you did.
Oh, really? That's odd. I could have sworn that you told me you were going to retire early.
No, I said that I was going to go dress early. You know how long it takes me to get dressed. Well, what do you think? Was it worth the wait?
Yes, it was worth the wait.
Thank you. See, Derek and I got together for lunch yesterday, and Derek told me that he was going to the party, so I thought we could all go together.
Well, yes, Geraldine, I did say that I'd be pleased to escort the both of you.
That's very kind of you, Derek, I'm sure.
No, it's my pleasure.
And what a wonderful escort. You look divine.
Yes, I've always said Derek Mallory was one of the most attractive men in Monticello.
Geraldine, I have an idea. Why don't the two of us go to the Whitney party? Let Raven find her own escort. She's so good at finding last-minute dates.
Oh, no, you don't, Derek. And you're going to stick by me the whole night because this is a very, delicate situation. And I'm going to need your strong arm to lean on.
Yes, well, are we all ready then? Shall we go?
Yes, I just want to make sure I'm all put together.
Raven, what is this? You know very well that you were not invited to Skylar's party this evening. I wasn't going to go myself, but he was so insistent.
Well, if I was invited, I wouldn't have gone. But since he did not invite me, nothing in the world is going to stop me.
Just going there to cause a fuss.
Why should I cause a fuss? He invited Derek. Derek's allowed to bring a date. So just what is Skylar Whitney going to say when that date turns out to be me?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mrs. Carr, glad you could come.
It's kind of you to invite us, Mr. Whitney.
I particularly wanted you here, since you played such a key role in my resurrection. You do realize that, don't you, Mrs. Carr?
Yes, I know that my husband was helpful in an unofficial capacity.
He definitely smoothed the path for me and saved the pain of what could have been a very messy court fight.
Frankly, I thought you might harbor some resentment towards me. I did defend Raven's right to deny that forced confession.
But you recognize the truth in the end, which is all that really matters.
Yes, I guess it is the truth that finally matters.
Well, I'm sure this house is familiar to both of you. Does it look any different now that there's a new tenant?
Well, it certainly feels different.
I'm sure you grew accustomed to seeing Raven here.
Yes, but I see that her portrait is gone.
Yes, replaced by one of my father. I returned Raven's portrait to her.
Is that all she got?
She got as little as possible.
Don't you think that was a bit punitive?
Of course it was, since I meant to punish her. Excuse me.
I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this evening very much.
Nancy, Mike.
Mallory.
How are you? I was so happy when Sky told me you two were going to be here.
Well, you look lovely.
Thank you. I just wish I felt a little more comfortable. And Sky sort of asked me to play hostess tonight, and I'm afraid I really don't know how to behave like one.
At least in this house. Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Valerie, what do you think? Mike said that the house feels different because of the new owner.
I don't know how different it is, Nancy. Sometimes I think that Jeff Brown adopted Sky's personality as well as his appearance.
I mean it sincerely, Mrs. Kavanaugh. You really deserve that Newscaster of the Year award. I can vouch for that personally.
You can.
Of course, because of the way you handled the story of my return to life. I thought that was done with great discretion.
My wife takes an awful lot of trouble getting her facts straight. I wish the rest of the world were like that.
Well, it was a very hard story to believe. I don't know if you know this, but Gabet and I both worked for Mr. Well, the man who was supposed to be you.
Yes, it's a time of our lives that we'll never forget.
Well, you have to fill me in on all the details someday.
I think somebody will probably write a book about it.
And I'm sure it will be a bestseller.
Well, the news coverage has been terrific. That series that Nancy Carr did for the Monticello News was wonderful.
That's because Nancy was able to cover the story in more depth than I could.
Look, I just hope you realize you have two of the most powerful and influential women in Monticello right here in your living room.
And you'll have three when Mrs. Saxon arrives.
Yes, it must give one an enormous sense of power to control a news media. Might be fun using a power like that.
Will you excuse us, please?
Of course.
Why don't we go inside?
That was not polite.
I don't want to stand there and listen to the power of the press. Besides, I've got a better idea.
Oh, yeah? What?
Let's go out on the patio and neck.
Well, that seems to be the truth, Mrs. Carr. You see, Bruno thought that he was working for the boss that, I used to work for. But listen, don't waste any sympathy on that man.
You mean he wasn't as nice as you are?
No, miss. I am definitely the better half.
Gunther, I think the other guests would like some champagne.
Yes, Mr. Whitney, of course.
Well, Mrs. Carr, I've been hearing some nice words about you.
Oh.
And I'd like to add a few of my own about the way you covered my story in the news.
Oh, Nancy's a marvelous reporter.
And on a most influential paper.
And that influence extends outside its own territory. I know, for instance, there are about 5,000 subscribers in Capital City, and quite a few in Washington, too.
Who owns it, by the way?
It's the Scarborough family. They've owned it for, what, about 10 years. David Scarborough's the publisher, although we don't really get to see him too often.
An absentee owner?
No, just a very private person.
I don't suppose it's for sale, by any chance?
I don't believe it is. You're not interested in buying it, Sky.
I don't think there would be a chance of that.
Hello, and how do you do? I'm Mitzi Martin. And, this is...
Oh, well, I'm Gunther Nelson. Well, I'm your escort.
Yes, he is my escort. And, Mr. Skylar Whitney invited we. Yes, he is my escort.
Well, please, do come in. I'll give you some champagne.
Thank you very much.
I was exactly like Gunther Wagner. See, why didn't you remember my name?
I'm so nervous I cannot even remember my own name.
It's Consuela.
It is not.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Actually, I've met the two of you before.
You have? Where?
It was at the Whitney Theater. I was there looking after my boss's interests. You were doing some kind of a routine.
Oh, you saw that, huh? Well, that's... I mean, we didn't know... Well, we didn't know you. How could we miss you?
Well, you were very good. And especially you. You were so cute and sassy. Well, listen, I'll be seeing you around, huh?
Boy, and I used to think Godzilla was scary.
And I said I did want to talk to you about something in private.
All right. What is it?
I've forgotten. I guess the sight of that young couple made it go completely out of my head. The only thing I can think about doing is exactly what they were doing.
Well, you can imagine how funny it was, too. The judge was just sitting there. He didn't understand.
Hello, Gunther. How are you? Oh, everything was so nice. Nancy and Mike, hi, Claire. Hello. Oh, my goodness. Oh, hi, Miles. I haven't seen you in a long time. Oh, could I have a sip of this? I'm so
Let's take the whole glass.
Thank you. Well, my, you look ravishing tonight. Oh, thank you, Raven. So hi, cute. Jody. Hello, Gabet. Oh. Oh, Mikey Carr.
Good evening, Raven.
Good evening. Hi, how are you? Hi, Nancy.
This is Mitzi Martin.
Hi, Mitzi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. It's
here.
lovely to be... Why, Mr. Whitney, how lovely it is to be here. Well, I'll be right back. I have to see Derek. Derek, did you get some champagne?
No, I didn't. Thank you.
Suppose you explain this to me, Gunther. What is that woman doing here?
Well, I don't know, Mr. Whitney. I didn't handle the invitations.
But your friend Nora made up the guest list. Is that why she suddenly took ill? Because she sneaked Raven's name onto it?
No, I'm sure that's not true, Mr. Whitney. Look, Spencer handled the invitations. I would suggest that you speak with him.
Oh, yes, yes. I intend to.
Excuse me, may I offer you some coffee?
Thank you very much, Mike.
No,
Yes, I think I'd like some.
Thank you. What I find is that you have to go and
Miss Martin?
beg for plea bargaining or time.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
So you really prefer...
Cliff, I think we really should be going.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. I have to be in court tomorrow at 9.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
Good night, Cliff.
good night.
Nice to see you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
It was lovely to see you again.
Say good night to the host. Well, Mr. Whitney, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting us.
Well, thank you for coming, Mr. I'm sorry, your name's gone right out of my head. A few glasses of champagne does that to me.
Oh, that's all right. It's Nelson. Clifford Nelson.
And you are,
Mitzi Martin, how do you do? I'm sorry we didn't get much of a chance to talk tonight, Mr. Whitney, but, well, you probably didn't miss much anyway. We really should go, I think.
Oh, yeah. Good night.
Night, Valerie.
Night,
Bye,
good night.
Mitzi. Bye, Cliff. Is that really true about the effect of champagne?
the truth is, I didn't know the names to begin with. In fact, I can't recall inviting either one of those people.
Well, that's curious, but I'm glad you met them. They're really good friends of mine. Maybe that's the reason they were invited.
Well, that would have been a good enough reason, but I swear their names were not on the guest list.
I hope you had a very good evening, Miss Martin.
Yes, I had a very nice evening, thank you.
I'll be seeing you at the theater very soon, I hope.
We'll let ourselves out. Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Look, I don't want you going to rehearsals alone.
Mike,
Yes, Geraldine.
have you seen anything of Raven?
No, not for the last half hour.
I've seen Miss Alexander, Mrs. Saxon.
Oh, where?
She's on the patio with her escort.
No, 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 no. We are not going to leave now. The night is still young, and I am still beautiful. I do look absolutely ravishing tonight, don't I?
You're bomb.
Now, come on. I've just gotten better since we were engaged. Time never seems to touch me.
Well, time is starting to touch me. This late hour might be all right for you ladies of leisure, but it wreaks havoc on us hard-working cops.
See, there you go. It's probably a good idea. We never did get married. We run on different clocks.
It is a good idea we never got married.
How dare you say that to me?
I'll tell it to you because it's the truth. Look, anything we felt for each other is long since past. We both know that. So come on, what's this really all about? Why are you chasing me around here like this, and what is this ploy?
You have a lot of nerve. You must be drunk.
I'm sober and you know it. Now come on, Raven, you tell me the truth. You wouldn't be trying to make somebody here tonight jealous.
Derek, you know how much I like you. That's why I wanted us to become good friends, because of all the suffering we've both gone through since our engagement.
I really don't think you suffered all that much.
I did, too. And I already told you that I was sorry for all the things I did. You don't think I've suffered? How do you think it feels? I lost a husband. I've lost my house. I walked in here and was treated like a guest in my own house.
Then why did you want to come here tonight?
Because I didn't want him to think that he could keep me away.
Raven, did you get an invitation here tonight, or was I used?
Of course I got an invitation here tonight. You don't think you could invite Aunt Geraldine and not invite me, do you?
Why not?
Because we live together, that's why not. And besides, nothing was going to stop me from coming here. I want Mr. Whitney to know who he is dealing with.
Yes, of course you do. That was the whole idea, to show Mr. Whitney. That's why you threw yourself on me every time he looked in your direction. You're trying to make him jealous.
How dare you say that to me? I just might go home alone.
In your condition, you couldn't find a ladies' room by yourself.
Oh, yeah?
Excuse me, Chief Mallory, you have a phone call from headquarters. I believe it's police business.
I couldn't take it out here, could I?
I'm sorry. We took the phone inside. It's a bit chilly outside. It's in the foyer next to the staircase.
Would you like to come inside?
No, I want to stay out here. I don't mind. It's cool.
All right. Thank you.
Can I get anything for you, Miss Alexander?
Of all the weird things that I have seen in this house tonight, Gunther, you are the strangest.
Well, thank you. Would you like a little more champagne?
Yes. I would like a lot more champagne. As a matter of fact, why don't you just bring out the entire bottle?
Well, I think I can arrange that.
Thank you, sir.
Of course I remember him. He's one of your little welfare cases. In fact, he'd still be in jail if you weren't so soft-hearted.
You were a wonderful hostess tonight, Valerie. I mean, you're dead.
Oh, don't be silly. I didn't feel in the least like a hostess. A hostess works at making a party successful, and I didn't do a thing.
You were beautiful and gracious and made everyone feel comfortable. That was no easy task, I assure you. I'm sure you'll realize that most of the people at this party tonight groaned when they read my invitation.
Oh, no, I don't believe that.
It's true. People came because they were curious. They wanted to see the new Sky Whitney.
To say nothing of the new Gunther Wagner. Are you aware of how many guests were gaping at Gunther?
And he enjoyed every gape, believe me.
You know, Sky, you wanted to sort of prove something with this party. Are you satisfied with the way it went?
Oh, I was more than satisfied. I was downright smug.
Well, fortunately, it didn't show.
Well, we can't afford to antagonize the VIPs now, can I?
I thought there wasn't anything you couldn't afford.
There are things money can't buy, Valerie. Just like your mother told you.
I never knew my mother.
How sad for her.
You know, Skylar, I really should be leaving.
Why?
Because it's getting late and everybody is going to be gone soon.
I know. Won't that be nice?
Excuse me, Mr. Whitney. I'm afraid Nancy and I have to leave. I want to thank you for a very nice evening.
Yes, it was delightful.
Oh, thank you. I know most people must have thought this was a rather strange affair, a kind of housewarming for a house that's been open as long as this one has.
It was a very good reason for having a party.
Well, something interesting came out of it for me, at least.
Oh? What was that?
Our conversation tonight about the Monticello news.
Oh, Skylar, you're not serious about that? You want to own a newspaper?
Is that really what you have in mind?
I know it seems rather ambitious, but makes for an interesting subject of speculation, doesn't it?
Well, now, as I said, I don't believe it is for sale right now, and I doubt that it's going to be in the near future.
It's been in the Scarborough family for years. They're practically inseparable.
But you said one man was the owner, right?
No. The family owns it. It's David Scarborough, who's the publisher.
Ah, and could you arrange a meeting between us, perhaps?
Well, yes, I suppose I could do that.
Good. I've always wanted to meet a newspaper publisher. I'm sure he's big and heavy-set and has mutton chop whiskers.
I think you're in for a surprise. Val, would you like to go now?
Yes, why not, Val? We'll be driving right by your place.
I don't think Val was quite ready to leave yet.
I'd appreciate it very much, Val. You told me those photo proofs I wanted were ready. We could stop by and pick them up.
That's right, they are ready. This will be a good time. And thank you. So I'll say good night. Thank you.
Good
I got my
night.
bag.
Thank you, Jen.
Yes, good night. Thank you for coming.
Good night, Mr.
Thank
Whitney.
Well, Aunt Geraldine, it's just you and me now.
Yes, Skylar, you and me and Raven. I should be thinking about getting her home.
Yes.
Raven? Raven? Where in heaven's name is she?
Why? Who do you think sent you the invitations?
Gunther?
Listen, I gotta go, baby. Sleep tight.
We seem to be having some trouble locating Miss Alexander.
You did say she was on the patio, Gunther, but...
Yes, that was the last place I saw her. I think she was planning on leaving.
That's probably what you did, Geraldine. Got her right home with one of the other guests. Now, I wouldn't worry about Raven. You know even better than I do that she's perfectly capable of taking care of herself.
It was a very nice party, Mr. Whitney.
Yes. What was the body count?
Oh, about a case. Not a very heavy drinking crowd, huh?
No, but heavy weights, nonetheless. Tell me, Gunther, you ever heard of a man named David Scarborough by any chance?
No, sir.
I just thought perhaps in your travels here and abroad. Well, never mind. I think I'll have a small nightcap and go to bed.
Would you like for me to pour, sir?
No, it's all right.
Well, I can tell you one thing about tonight, Mr. Whitney. Old Spencer's going to be very unhappy that he missed this one.
Yes, he will. He should be home any time now. I'm anxious to speak to him. Hopefully he has some good news for me about a business transaction I'm interested in.
Well, good night, Mr. Whitney.
Good night, Gunther.
Please leave your message after the sound of the signal.
Derek, I'm really very sorry. It's Geraldine Saxon. Sorry to trouble you, but when I got home from the Whitney house tonight, I found that Raven was not here. And I'm really terribly worried about her. If you do have a chance to call, please do. I'm going to just wait up until she gets home, at which time, of course, I will leave another message. Thank you. Raven, where in heaven's name are you?
Come to bed.
Sue.
Spencer, you're back.
Yes, back from the wars. Am I limping badly?
Sounds as if the battle was rough.
Well, mostly tiring. I don't think there's a banking institution in Chicago of any kind that I didn't pay a visit to.
Without any luck, I got it.
None at all. Sky, this key of Jeff Brown's is as mysterious as ever. If this key fits any deposit box in the state, I don't know where it is. It's been a very frustrating experience. Of course, you know about these safety deposit keys. The number on them isn't the number on the box.
Of course not. Then anyone finding the key could violate your privacy.
Which is what we did. In a way. We did find the key among Jeff Brown's personal possessions.
That wasn't the reason the banks turned you away, though, was it?
Turn away Skylar Whitney's business manager? They'd have to be out of their minds. No, I had no trouble getting all the cooperation I needed. I spoke to only the top officials. Of course, they were all hoping that I was there to make a sizable deposit.
I'm sure they were.
Your name opened every door, Skylar, but this key didn't open a thing.
How did you determine that?
Well, some of them checked the numbers on the records that they had, but that doesn't do much good because the key can be duplicated and any number can be put on it.
Including 5011.
I wish. No, our best bet was to check the names of the depositors.
And there was no Skylar Whitney?
No, and no Jefferson Brown, of course.
Well, he could have used a pseudonym.
Whatever he did, Skylar, we are up against an impossible proposition.
Any suggestions?
I think we should forget the whole thing.
No, I won't do that.
It might not matter that we know where the box is. There might be nothing of value in it, Sky.
There's got to be. Why else would we conceal it? Why go to the trouble? Spencer, we still don't know the extent of this estate, how huge it could be. What would Jeff Brown hide away from the rest of the world? Gems? Diamonds, maybe? Deeds of property, negotiable bonds?
Maybe some baby pictures he thought were sentimentally valuable.
I don't care what it is. The point is he is still hiding something from me. Still laughing at me from the grave.
Sky, I think you're making too much of this. But I admit I'm as curious as you are. So I'll just keep looking for the answer, even if I have to go to every bank in the country.
Now, what if it isn't in this country? What about a bank in Switzerland?
I think you're beginning to see our problem.
Well, you solved worse for me, Spencer.
Well, I'll keep working on it. By the way, it looks like your party was a success.
Yes, I'm sorry you couldn't be here. It was, interesting. I'll tell you all about it in the morning, and about our uninvited guest.
Who was that?
The lady who used to live here.
If you don't mind, I think I'd like to hear that story right now.
In that case, I'll have a second nightcap.
Doesn't that man ever go to sleep?
Skylar. Hurry up. I'm getting tired of waiting.
in my bedroom.
Oh, no, I thought it was mine.
It was yours. Not so very long ago.
Oh, this is awful. I was so tired. It must have been the champagne, and I just came up here to rest for a little.
I understand.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll leave.
No, don't go yet. I'm glad you're here.
You are?
I've been wanting to speak to you all evening. To tell you how lovely you looked. How happy I was that you came to the party.
But you didn't even invite me. I had to come with someone you did invite.
I was surprised to see you, of course. But then I was very glad.
I don't believe you.
How could I have invited you? You were so angry with me the last time we met. I thought you'd never want to see me again.
I was angry with you. I still am.
In that case, I have nothing to lose.
What do you mean?
By making you even angrier. Like this.
What's going on here? What are you doing in my bed? Get out of here. Spencer! You heard me. I said get out! Now! Spencer, would you see to it that Miss Alexander gets home safely?
Of course.
Hello.
Geraldine, it's Derek Mallory.
Thank heavens.
Julian, I got your message. Is Raven still not home yet?
No, she isn't, and I'm more worried about her than ever. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to leave the party and leave her there like that, but I just couldn't be helped.
Well, my dear, it isn't your fault. If it's anyone's, it's mine. I should have kept track of that woman. Derek, she was drinking tonight, too. I suppose you were aware of that.
Oh, she sure was drinking. But listen, I'm sure somebody there gave her a ride back.
Well, I certainly hope so. I hope she doesn't decide to... Oh, wait, here she is. Thank you, dear. Good night. Raven.
Don't start yelling at me now. I've heard enough yelling for one night.
Hello, Mrs. Saxon.
Spencer.
I was asked to escort Miss Alexander home.
Well, thank you very much.
What are you thanking him for?
If you'll excuse me, I'll say it.
Wait a minute, Spencer. I have a message for your boss. You tell him that he hasn't heard the last of me yet. And you also tell him that someday he's gonna be begging for me to stay.